breaking news from the National Football League. A moment before we came on the air, Kmart, what do we know?
We now know that we have another running back deal. Colts running back Jonathan Taylor signed a 2-year extension that Adam Schefter reported, up to $39 million guaranteed. So this is huge because we just had Bijan Robinson, his contract details announced this week, and now we are going to wait to see when Jahmyr Gibbs can get his money.
It's been a good week for running backs. It's actually been a busy offseason for the Colts. They gave Daniel Jones an extension. They gave Alec Pierce a contract. And now Jonathan Taylor, 2 years, $44 million is the number that we have here. Does this add up to the Colts being a contender in what is suddenly an interesting division with Jacksonville and Houston?
I want to see what version of Daniel Jones that we're getting. We have to remember he tore his Achilles last year. I know he's out there practicing right now, but this is a team that started 8-2 within their first 10 games. I was calling the game on ESPN Radio when he tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
They lost 7 straight. But this is the head coach, Shane Steichen. This is Chris Ballard as a general manager saying that we're going for the gusto and we're going to reward these players and we're going to attach our names to it. Now they just have to go out there and get it done.
Remember, they went all in last year. They made the trade for Sauce Gardner. That didn't work. The whole entire season blew up on them midway through. We'll see what happens again. Jonathan Taylor gets his money. It's the biggest third contract any running back has ever received. Meanwhile, the biggest story in the NFL continues.
Running back deal, 3-time Pro Bowl running back Jonathan Taylor and the Colts reached an agreement today on a 2-year, $44 million extension worth up to $47 million. That includes $39 million guaranteed. That's from Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport. This will be the largest third contract any running back has received. With some
This facility, Aaron Donald's name appeared on the NFL's transaction wire yesterday as a player taking part in a tryout. Yes, that's what it was officially called, a tryout for the team. Sean McVay was asked about his 3-time Defensive Player of the Year.
Right before we started, so I hope you're even aware of this, like the NFL transaction wire had Aaron Donald working out with the Rams today, which I guess...
Did it come across as a tryout?
It did come across as
Best
a tryout
that we've ever had.
Okay. You think he could make the team?
Phenomenal.
I think he could make the
The
team.
kid's got a shot.
Yeah, no, that was honestly our way of being able to get a workout with him within the parameters of. But Giff Smith said it's the greatest tryout he's ever had.
Okay, so let's cut to the chase here. Aaron Donald is coming back. We can stop playing games. We can stop saying if he comes back. We can talk about this as though it is happening. And so, Hawk, let's think about what we're dealing with. This was a Rams defense that, while it fell off the table the last month of last season and probably cost them a shot at the Super Bowl, it still was very good and filled with talent last year. They've added a bunch of pieces, including in the secondary, but obviously most significantly, Myles Garrett and now Aaron Donald. What are we talking about in Los Angeles, Hawk?
We're talking about Super Bowl or bust. We're talking about potentially the best defense that we've ever seen in the NFL, because I don't think people even realize, yes, we know Aaron Donald is an incredible Hall of Fame defensive lineman. We know Myles Garrett is the best pass rusher in the National Football League. And the question becomes, well, Aaron Donald has been retired. How good is he? No, he is still going to be one of, if not the best defensive tackle in the league, especially facing single blockers and not facing the double and triple teams that he's used to. This is like Reggie White and Lawrence Taylor being on the same defense. That's how special of a unit this Los Angeles Rams team could have.
The comparison I've been making is if you put Reggie White and Joe Green on the same team, because I think Joe Green is considered the greatest defensive tackle ever, Reggie White the greatest defensive end ever. We won't quibble over whether you disagree with those because there could be others, but the point is you're adding the two of them to a defense that was already pretty good. I do not think it is hyperbole to say that on paper they could be the greatest defense of all time.
I'm not willing to go that far just yet, because I think about the 85 Bears, I think about the 2000 Baltimore Ravens, 2013 Seahawks, but I think this has the opportunity to be the best tandem defensive line-wise that we've ever seen amongst the National Football League. And the reason why the Rams go and make these upgrades, go back to the NFC Championship game a year ago, Greeny, where Sam Darnold threw for 346 yards and 3 touchdowns. They couldn't sack the quarterback effectively. They couldn't stop guys in the secondary. You make all these moves so you can contend and win a Super Bowl. But that's not the biggest thing on my list for the Los Angeles Rams.
Okay.
I think they have the most pressure of any team in the National Football League to win that that Super Bowl. The last time that they won one, it was in SoFi Stadium. This year, the Super Bowl is going to be hosted in SoFi Stadium. You're bringing Aaron Donald. You're bringing Myles Garrett. You're trading for Trent McDuffie to go along with all the firepower that you have offensively. Sean McVay, as a head coach, it's his job to make sure that his players take it 1 week at a time and they don't look ahead.
Here's the reality. They don't need to be the greatest defense of all time because last year they lost by 4 points in the NFC title game. What you have right now is a team on this roster. They had last year's leader in sacks, last year's leader in receiving touchdowns, last year's leader in receptions, the MVP. It's not just the defense.
Yeah.
This entire roster is built to win it all. So to Harry's point, the pressure is extremely high, but they came within an inch of going to the Super Bowl, and a lot of people thought, myself included, that they were actually the better team last year. So we'll see. It's on them now to prove it.
I agree with you. There has never been or there have rarely been teams that were more Super Bowl or bust than this team is right now. They're as all in can be. And yes, I agree. Of course, the most important part is the winning. I am interested, as one who cares about and is fascinated by the history of the sport, whether they could be one of the great defenses of all time. You ran down, in the modern era of pro football, the great defenses start with the steel curtain defenses in Pittsburgh in the 70s, and then you went through them. The 85 Bears, the 2000 Ravens, the Buddy Ryan Eagles, who never won a championship, so sometimes get forgotten, maybe Tampa in the early 2000s, and then the Legion of Boom. The game is so different now, Hawk, that the numbers may not look it. The game is so much more skewed towards offense than it was. Let's just use the 85 Bears. I was a freshman in college in Evanston, Illinois. I watched every snap of the 85 Bears season. I've always said they could have punted on first down when they got the ball, and they still would have gone 8-8. If they literally played without an offense, that team would have gone 8-8. I don't think you can do that in the NFL anymore because the rules are so skewed towards offense. So the numbers may not, when the season ends, the numbers may not say they were the greatest defense of all time, but that doesn't mean, Hawk, that they won't dominate. Let's just live in this one, Stick. We'll push back the other stuff we were going to do. Hawk, take me into the planning meeting, okay? You're playing them week 1. You're San Francisco, of all things. In their case, everybody's hurt. You're in Australia, for crying out loud. And now we're going to we're in our planning meeting, and they're going to have Myles Garrett, and they're going to have Aaron Donald. You tell me, what is that offensive meeting like?
It's a prayer visual is what it is, Greeny, because there is no strategy. If Aaron Donald comes back as Aaron Donald, I'm telling you, there's not a strategy that you can think of to say, oh, man, how do you stop 5 Defensive Player of the Year awards on one defensive line? That is almost impossible. My offensive lineman would sit up at night, weeks leading up to a game, with just Aaron Donald, the same way they do with just Myles Garrett, and they're both there. And on the back end, to you guys' point, the margin of victory for the Seahawks in those late season matchups was paper thin. And they've added 2 top-level corners on the back end and 2 of the best defensive linemen in NFL history on the front end. That is not just pressure. That's unprecedented.
So, Greeny,